So we finally got the plumbing done for the cottage and the staff quarters, as you saw in the last episode. The water pipes are in, the waste pipes are connected, and we're slowly getting closer to the finishing stages. Today, we're tackling the ceilings for both structures, and I may have a very unpopular view to many people when it comes to ceilings, so stay tuned to find out what that is. And as always, I'll break down exactly how much this stage cost. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm documenting the journey of building a home in Zimbabwe while living abroad. I share the real process, the progress, the mistakes, the lessons, and the cost of everything as we go. The aim here is to show, the full journey honestly, from buying land to drilling the borehole, to building the cottage, the staff quarters, and eventually the main house. So today, let's talk ceilings. So before we get into the ceiling itself, let's start by addressing the type of roof that we have. This is something I've mentioned before, and it's one of those choices that I may live to regret. For the cottage and the staff quarters, we went with a simple gable roof. So we have beams and rafters resting on the walls. So because of that setup, all the internal walls were built up to the gable height to help to spread out the load. And the reason really is that most of the external walls are single walls. And to be honest, that was probably another mistake. I'll discuss all of this properly in a future episode because there are a few lessons around wall thickness, roof design, load, and the decisions you make when you're trying to keep costs under control. But to stay in scope for this episode, let's focus on what that meant for the ceilings. So because we don't have full trusses, we don't have proper ceiling joists to fix our ceiling boards onto. So instead of fixing the ceiling boards directly onto joists, we need to install a suspended ceiling. Another issue as well is that because we don't have trusses, we can't also have a proper attic, or what other people call a crawl space. Unfortunately, it means that if we ever need to get up to the ceiling for repairs, for electrics, or to check something on the roof, or run anything new in future, access becomes a problem. Again, I'll cover this properly in a future episode. But in essence, what it means is that once the ceiling is done, the roof space is essentially sealed. Okay, let's talk about the choice of ceiling I went for. I'll preface this by saying we all have different tastes, each to their own. So when you're building your own house, you should build what you like. It's your money, it's your home, and it's your choice. But for me, I don't know because I've spent the majority of my life in the UK, but I genuinely find some of these so-called modern ceilings a bit tacky, to be honest. I know that might offend some people, and if it does, I truly apologize. But some of them are just too much for my liking. The bulkheads, the different levels, the LED strip lights, the hidden lights, the circles, the squares, the little dust crevices everywhere. Sometimes you look at the ceiling and it feels like the ceiling is trying harder than the house itself. And don't get me started about LED lights. Some of those ceilings look like you're about to land a plane in the lounge. But again, that's just me. I prefer things that are simple, clean, and easy to maintain. Remember the pine paneling ceilings from the 90s and the early 2000s? At the time, everybody thought they looked amazing, but now when most people look at them, they immediately date the house. That's how I think we're going to look at some of these modern ceilings in 10 or 15 years' time. Again, that's just my personal opinion. If you like modern ceilings, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But for me, especially for the cottage and the staff quarters, I wanted something simple. No fancy ceilings, no spotlights, no complicated shapes. Just a clean, flat ceiling does the job. I know it may seem like I actually get paid by some of these places I mentioned, but the reality is that I just recommend what worked for me. So for ceiling materials, we went back to Fab Junction. We got all the ceiling materials from there, the rhino boards, the timber, the skimming materials, the ceiling support materials, the finishing trims, the fixings, and other consumables. And here we are back on site with all the materials ready to start. The first thing we had to do was to measure where we wanted the ceiling height to be. This is an important stage because once the ceiling line is wrong, everything follows that mistake. So the guys measured and marked the ceiling height around the rooms. After that, they started installing the galvanized steel U-track. So the U-track forms the basis of the ceiling. It acts as the anchor around the walls. So once the track is fixed properly and level all around the way, the rest of the ceiling frame can be built from there. With the U-tracks installed, the guys built the ceiling framing around the U-tracks. And because this is a suspended ceiling, the middle points had to be supported from above. So they used Elengus steel to suspend parts of the ceiling from the beams. That gives the ceiling extra support across the middle and helps prevent sagging later on. You can see here in the cottage, all the framing is almost done. At this point, you can already start to see the ceiling shape take form, and this is probably a good point to decide if you want spotlights or what other people call downlights, because if you want those, you need to plan for them before the ceiling boards go up. You need to know where the lights are going, you need to make sure the wiring is in the right place, and you need to make sure that whoever's doing the ceiling understands the layout. For me, I just kept it simple, just normal lights, no spotlights, because this is the cottage and the staff quarters after all. With the framing done in the cottage, the guys started installing ceiling boards. We used rhino boards. Rhino board is basically a type of plasterboard that's commonly used for ceilings and partitioning. The advantage is that it gives you a nice flat surface. It's relatively quick to install, and once it's skimmed and painted properly, the finish looks very clean. As you can see here, the boards are fixed onto the ceiling frame, then the joints are covered and finished during the skimming stage. Skimming is basically applying a thin layer of finishing plaster over the ceiling boards. The goal is to cover the joints, smooth out the surface, and prepare it for painting. This is one of those stages where the room changes very quickly. Before the boards go up, you can still see the roof structure, the beams and everything above. But once the boards are installed, the room suddenly starts to feel more enclosed and more finished. This is one of those jobs where good workmanship really matters. If the skimming is bad, you'll see it later, especially when the lights are on, you'll see waves, bumps, lines, and uneven patches. You can see here the ceiling skimming in the cottage is now done. It hasn't dried off yet, which is why it looks discolored, but once it dries and cures properly, it will look much whiter. And once it's painted, it should look really clean and finished. As always, let's talk about cost. For the ceiling stage with materials and labor, we paid $770 for the ceiling timber. Then we had ceiling boards and skimming materials. That came up to $862. For ceiling support and finishing trims, that came up to $324. Fixings and other consumables came up to $124. So the total for materials came up to $2,088. The labor for this ceiling installation and skimming cost $750. So the grand total for the full ceiling stage came up to $2,838. And remember, this is both for the cottage and the staff quarters. So that's the ceiling stage done for the cottage and the staff quarters. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like simple ceilings, or you're a fan of the more modern ceilings like bulkheads, spotlights, LED lights, and all the extra detail? I know some people disagree with me on this one, so let's discuss it in the comments. And if you've installed ceilings back home before, let me know what you used and what you'd recommend as well. As always, thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you're enjoying following this journey, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Again, thanks for watching. That's all I've got for you guys this time, so I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.